The Pittsburgh Steelers' Nick Herbig may actually be one of the top 10 defensive ends in the NFL, and the guy is not getting the credit that he deserves. We're going to break this guy's tape and analyze what it is that makes this guy such a great football player. The pass rush technique that Nick Herbig plays with, the bend, the quickness, and just the ability to win at the point of attack is absolutely incredible. And we're going to talk about it because I think this guy is legitimately one of the most elite players in the NFL. And I think over the next 1 to 2 seasons, people are going to start to generally agree with that. So you're going to get a really, really nice move here by Herbig. And I want to show you guys this play here in tune, because this is one of the moves that he goes to oftentimes that allows him to win. Now, this one's not going to actually generate a sack or a quarterback hit, but it is a win, and you can definitely see that on tape right away. So one of the things you're going to see on this play here is Herbig's going to end up putting the left hand into the tackle, but the left hand isn't actually really going to do anything other than keep the tackle away from him. The left hand lands, and then it's going to come right off of Herbig. And it's really that elite bend that he plays with that allows him to win on this one. The left hand's going to end up landing. The right hand's going to grab onto the left hand of the tackle. And that right hand is what's going to allow Herbig to be able to bend the corner, keep himself upright as he kind of hits that. And with that, you see him beat the offensive tackle on this one. Now, of course, the quarterback does get the ball out. So on this one, you don't actually see him get to the quarterback. But this is one of his pass rush go-to moves, and you're going to see that he's going to utilize this same exact move this time against Rashawn Slater, a top 5 left tackle. And this time he's going to get to the quarterback and actually get the ball out. So think about what Herbig is essentially doing on this play. He's going to once again set this tackle up. Left hand lands, right arm essentially pins, and then the left hand just kind of falls off. Again, he's not really doing anything other than just keeping the distance and making sure that offensive tackle cannot get into his chest. But to me, this is such a great job by Herbig because he's fine-tuned and perfected this move here. And it's one of those moves that works. And he's able to beat Rashawn Slater to the corner, and he's able to get to the quarterback on this one. And he's able to get the ball out. To me, this is such a great play right here. 2nd and 10, 5-yard loss, 3rd and 15. The drive's over at this point. And again, this is one of his go-to moves. Here's another one where he's going to end up beating the left tackle of the Falcons. Same exact thing. He's going to generate that pressure. Now, the quarterback does get the ball out, but you can once again see him utilize that same exact move. When you slow it down, the left hand's going to land to the inside chest. The right arm's going to come. He's going to pin. He's going to be able to beat the tackle. And once he beats the tackle, you're going to see him essentially bend the corner. And on this one, once again, he's able to generate that pressure and get to the quarterback. It's just a really, really good job by Nick Herbig to be able to win. Over and over and over again, he's beat some of the best tackles in the NFL with this same move. Here's another one. Once again, same exact move. Left hand, right swipe or pin. He's able to hit the corner. And he once again is going to generate that pressure. Now, another way this guy ends up winning is utilizing what is referred to as the hezi move. To me, Nick Herbig has an elite hezi move. And you see it on this play here. I'll show you guys a couple more examples as well after this one. But on this one here, he's going to set up number 65 with the hezi to the inside. And it just looks really, really, really good. And 65 is going to straight up just get off balance. He's not going to be able to handle the speed and the quickness. Herbig's also going to end up chopping with the right hand. And once again, he's going to beat this tackle to the outside. Just a really, really good job with that hezi move to be able to beat a pretty good offensive tackle. Here's another one. He's going to hezi to the outside on this one. He's going to jump back towards the inside. Once again, he's going to be able to beat the left tackle, generate that pressure, and the quarterback throws it away on 3rd and 1. Again, just a beautiful job being able to utilize that speed and quickness, change direction, and this is part of what makes this guy such a special football player. And he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, at least not yet, but I think there's a real chance that by the time this season comes to an end, more and more people are going to start to realize that Nick Herbig is one of the elite pass rushers in the NFL. More and more people are going to start to recognize that this guy's an absolute elite football player, and you just see it play in, play out, that the speed this guy plays with is absolutely different. The speed that Nick Herbig plays with reminds me so much of Micah Parsons, right? He's different in that movement and that speed and quickness, and there's not a whole lot of guys like Herbig. Truth be told, Micah Parsons, Herbig are probably in their own class because of that quickness and speed that both of these guys ultimately play with. To me, one of the things I wanted to see this guy really step up and prove himself over the course of this season was, can he actually be a good run defender? Can he be consistent? Can he anchor down at the point of attack when he's on the front side of zone runs? And the thing is we're seeing him actually be able to do that. We saw it a bunch against the Cleveland Browns yesterday, which I'll show you guys here in a second. But he also has really, really good quickness to chase plays from the backside. So you're going to run what looks like a pin pull towards the left. Although this is technically a power concept, everybody on the backside is essentially zone blocking, right? They're going to reach towards the left, which means Nick Herbig on this one is essentially seeing zone from his perspective. He's going to chase it down backside, and he's going to force the fumble on this one. To me, the quickness this guy plays with is absolutely elite, and he's using that quickness to win, and you're seeing that against the run, right? He's able to get off blocks, he's able to get around guys, he's able to get in there and make plays. But the biggest jump I've seen from this guy is that on the front side of zone runs, the guy is holding his ground, and here's a great example of that. You're going to get this right tackle to come directly at number 51. And what they're trying to do on this outside zone run is they're trying to widen that gap. So what that means on this play is this offensive tackle, this guard, the center are all trying to widen these gaps. One of the most important parts of this outside zone play is as you make contact here with Nick Herbig, you need to move him. You need to stretch him out of there. And that allows the running back to have the ability to cut it underneath. And the way to stop an outside zone play is on the front side. You got to set the edge. You got to be able to take that offensive tackle on. You got to be able to keep your outside shoulder free. You got to be able to set that edge. And you got to force the running back to cut it back to the inside. And on this one here, Herbig does a really good job being able to take this guard on. He fights the block. He gives up maybe a yard. And he's able to set the edge. And as he sets the edge, the running back has to come back towards the inside. So Nick Herbig is essentially doing now what he kind of struggled with a little bit last year. And he's able to do it in multiple different ways. But you're seeing him actually be able to set that edge. You're seeing him actually be able to hold his own. And he's making plays against the run, and it's at the point where he is consistently making plays against the run. Yesterday, according to Pro Football Focus, Nick Herbig had 11 total impactful plays, and 6 of those 11 plays were essentially against the run. He had a lot of plays like this where he was able to beat the guy in front of him and ultimately make the play. On this one here, he's on the backside of a zone run, but he beats the block. He's able to get right in front of the tight end, and he's able to get to the running back. On this other play here, you got a 2nd and 2. This is a key moment of the game. He's going to get off the block, and he's going to once again get to the running back. I think there's a real chance that Nick Herbig at this point is a top 10 defensive end. And of course, he's not going to get the credit right now because of the fact that, 1, he doesn't play a lot of snaps. 2, he didn't come into this season as a first-round pick or a guy that's highly drafted. And 3, when most people think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they think about TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. So people are going to overlook a guy in Nick Herbig. But I think we're getting to the point where more and more people are realizing that this guy's an absolute elite football player. And I think as we kind of continue over the course of this season, more and more people are going to start to realize it. Especially since the Pittsburgh Steelers are having so much success right now. Yes, they lost yesterday against the Cleveland Browns, but this team is still really, really good. And you can just see it on tape how great they are on the defensive side of the football. And I think a big part of that also happens to be because of Nick Herbig. You can make the argument. He's the 2nd or 3rd best player on that defensive side of the football. Let me know if you guys actually agree with that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.
Now, before we go forward, I want to just take a second to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this channel because this content would not be possible without Underdog. If you guys have never utilized Underdog before, trust me, man, you guys are missing out. I don't do traditional fantasy sports that often. I did do one league this year, but generally speaking, I'm not really doing it anymore. And that's mostly because of Underdog. Underdog has this game that I really, really enjoy. It's called Pick'em. Essentially, you're going to go out there and just make picks that you think are going to be right. They'll have pretty much every pick you can think of for every player, and they have multiple categories as well. So an example would be, I think Aiden O'Connell is going to throw for 125 yards. And you're essentially just going to pick higher on that, right? I think he'll have more than 125 yards. You might say, hey, Dak Prescott's going to have at least 2 touchdowns, and pick higher on that. You might say Caleb Williams is going to have a rushing touchdown. And some of those stats also give you multipliers, right? So usually for quarterbacks rushing and in, right? That's something most quarterbacks aren't doing every single week. You'll get like a 4x multiplier on that. So depending on the multiplier, depending on how many picks, you can turn $5 into $400, $1,000, right? Whatever it ends up being. Obviously, it depends on the multiplier, but Underdog to me is one of those places that I pretty much do every single week at this point. Very fun. It makes like watching the Jets and the Dolphins without Tua. It makes them interesting, right? So check out Underdog. If you guys have never used them before, it is the best place. Trust me when I say that. Go to underdogfantasy.com, use my promo code that you guys see on the screen, or use the app. I recommend the app. So let's get right back into the content.